Hi everyone, I'm doing my John Maxwell. So I've had a busy morning. I had to go out today to do some chores, so I thought I'd do it now before I get caught up in doing something else, because I always find something or the other to do. If I'm not baking, I'm cooking, I'm doing embroidery, I'm always doing something. So it's a beautiful day in Toronto and I've had a lovely morning. I'm just waiting for everything. I'll be back at work next week, and then hopefully everything will be set up for me so that I can do my work and also learn. This week I've just been shadowing, and last week, because I couldn't get into anything to do my own work. And I wanted to focus again on this book. Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. So we have a lot of new people coming in to our organization, a lot of Indians, a lot of people from Nigeria, from Ghana. I haven't met any South Africans or Zimbabweans there, but we have a lot of people coming in. Teleperformance has opened offices in South Africa. So that's nice for me because, I'm connecting with people that are in that part of the world and also people in England. It's a global organization. So hopefully over time I'll be able to come up and move into a different role or a different opportunity. And we're an IT company, so there's always opportunities to learn and to grow. And it's exciting because we have so many different campaigns, different organizations and companies that are outsourcing, especially now at this time. So many people are out of work. And my colleagues, especially people that are from Nigeria and other parts of Canada, they say to me, "You've been in Toronto for 20 years. Don't you know people that can give your resume to others?" And I said, "Yes, I do." And they do that for me. They do pass it on. But unfortunately, I don't get any callback. So I'm just happy to be where I am. And they're like, "Yeah, but this is not the best job." I said, "Well, you haven't been here that long. You've just come into the country, and you maybe once you've lived here a while, you'll see, you'll get to experience, because it's not as easy as people think it is. From the outside, you think it's easy. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. I do try to guide them and to help them, but at the end of the day, they have to make their own choices and their own decisions. I can only share my experience with them. Many of them are PhD graduates. They have degrees in engineering, chemical engineering, mechanical engineering. Many of them, like me, have masters in something or the other, an MBA or a Master's of Arts or a Master's in English. So, people that are calling into the call center might think that, they're dealing with people who just left high school, but they're not. There's only one person that has just left high school on our team. So, it's interesting to see. Perception is not reality. People always say perception is reality, and I always used to tell them, people, perception is not reality, and they're like, "No, perception is reality." But this is the reality of life today. So I'm focusing on this. Your strength as an individual. It just depends on how you respond to both criticism and praise. And I'm trying to stop them from getting hurt like I got hurt, because it's very hard when you're educated and you know the solutions, you know the answers, and you see something else is being done, to not push back and say this is the right way to do it. But the company also has their own expectations of what the client wants and what they're bringing in. So I've told them that, and they're like, "No, but they can't do this and this and this." I said, if you guys think you're going to be able to push back, you're going to land up in the same position as me. They're going to tell you, just do your work and don't report anything. So, it's up to them. All I can do is try to mentor them and to guide them and help them. And John Maxwell says in this book, show me a guy who is afraid to look bad and I'll show you a guy who can beat every time. And that's true, because a lot of times in our journeys, we are learning. We're always starting over and we're always learning. Every interaction, every call we take, every email we send, we have to treat it as a new interaction. And even if we get repeat customers, like when I worked on Fanatics, I had repeat customers that really liked me. And they're like, oh, thank God we got you. So, it just depends. Over time, you build up those skills and you build up that relationship. But it does take time. And the effect it has on us, it can either help us or it can hurt us. So with me, I just adopt the attitude that I'm willing to learn whatever it is. I don't necessarily have the same qualifications as a PhD graduate, but I've always had a good attitude that I'm willing to learn whatever the job is. And sometimes I even think, why did I even go and get those degrees and qualifications? Because the people that don't have the degrees and qualifications, they are the ones who are getting more opportunities and more support to learn. Because I did it on my own. I paid for my education. I did it myself. And I don't get that support. But anyway, it is what it is. You can't go back and change things. And my degrees are valuable to me, even if they're not valuable to Canada and they're not valuable to the employer. I value them. And outsiders can always criticize or send praise. It just depends on us and how we take that. We learn to see things as they are, and we learn not to be flattered by things. Like, I know, for example, when we support the One campaign, we support Bono, but we also do, as volunteers, hold him accountable. Like if we see something that we don't like, or we send messages through the correct channels and also his Facebook, we do in a way let him know our views as well. And that's important even in our company. I mean, the new people that are coming in, I wish them luck in changing things, because there's a lot of new laws that are being brought in which are going to also help us. And I think it's good. Like now in Canada, they have to disclose the salaries and the wages. They didn't have to do that before. So when you go into a job, when you apply for a job, the salary band and how much they're going to pay you, whether it's hourly or annually, has to be disclosed. And that's a law that's coming in. And that's good, because it not only helps you as a person applying for work, it helps the company because you're more competitive. And the young people that are coming in today, they're very confident, especially the girls that are coming here from India. They're confident, they go out, they go to pubs, they go to bars, they enjoy their lives. And my hat's off to them. I mean, if I had to live my life over, if I had the money, I would also do that. But I live a very quiet life. I'm at home most of the time. But it's good for them. I wish them the best, and hopefully their courage pays off. And we learn and we grow in the face of losses. I had covered that initially as well. And we let go of perfection, because we know that there's always opportunities to learn, to grow. I mean, most of the time, I've been fortunate because my customers will say that was perfect. And I often get taken aback by that, because I don't see myself as that being that perfect. But I do try my best, and I do hope that with this new opportunity, I'll be able to do good. Sometimes like with Fanatics, it was nice because we were dealing with a whole different bunch of companies and supporting sports fans, and I like sports. So that was good. But I mean, sometimes when you're dealing with technical issues, you're dealing with things that you haven't had to deal with before, it can be very challenging, right? Because I went into a relationship management career. I went into executive assistant and HR work. So it's different for me when I have to now deal with technical issues and technical support. And also I'm more confident working in the back office compared to working in the front in Canada, because dealing with the Americans, for me, it's very, very hard. But I learn and I grow and I adapt, I do my best, and that's what I would encourage any immigrants, people coming here from other places or going to other places to do, because it's all about the culture. Like if you look at some adverts, they'll say must understand how things get done as opposed to the job description, because they're talking about culture, they're talking about the nuances of how that company operates. So that's what it is, whether you're working here or in England or in Australia or you're working at a university. I enjoyed the university environment as well. I enjoyed working there and being in that professional academic environment. When I worked at Regis College, it was nice. I liked it. And I also enjoyed working in the back end in operations in financial institutions. But front office is hard. It's very hard. And anybody will tell you that. It's difficult work, especially working with the Americans. Many of us find it very challenging. And also I've learned to change my voice. So I try to speak more slowly when I'm talking to them, because accent also comes into it. Some people do say to me, you have a very British accent. Others will say to me, you sound very Indian. And I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah, did you come from India yesterday? I'm like, no, actually, I've lived in Canada for 20 years. So, yeah, it all depends. But that's how we take it and that's how we grow. A lot of information is available on the phones today, but not all of it is true. A lot of information that I read and see, I take with a pinch of salt. But now I'm working with Nigerians, I'm working with people that came from Windsor, from other parts of Canada to Toronto. I like to talk to them, and we have that bond, the Nigerians and we have that bond. And they tell me about Nigeria and I'm a bit shell-shocked at it. There's a lot of problems in the country. Zimbabweans tend to be very peaceful. We're a peace-loving nation. And they're like, you people all get along. I'm like, yeah, we don't have a lot of conflict in Zimbabwe. And they're like, how many languages are there? I said, well, there might be like 13 or 14. They're like, and you live peacefully. I said, yeah, we live peacefully. It's just the corruption and the taking of the money out of the country to Switzerland and to the Arab nations. That's what's hurting Zimbabwe. And they are a bit shocked. I said, yeah, we're not like Nigerians. There's nothing of this kidnapping children from schools and taking them and all this kind of thing. But I told them, I said, we consider ourselves a Christian country. There are Christian laws in place. We all get Good Friday off, Easter Sunday. Everything is closed for the religious holidays, for Christmas, Easter. And it's a very peaceful country, very peace-loving. And they're like, oh, maybe that's why. We have Muslim leaders in a lot of Africa now, and it's an increasing problem. So I said, well, I don't know, because I haven't seen a lot of Africa. I've only been to South Africa and Zimbabwe. I'd like to see more. I'd like to go to other parts, maybe Namibia, but I have no intention of going to these countries where there's so much problems. But it's like everywhere. If you have money, you have these gated communities and you have people that live in there, and their lives are very different to ordinary people like us. We're struggling to make ends meet, whether it's in Canada or Nigeria. It's the same thing all over. But anyway, sometimes we win, sometimes we learn, and let's see how it goes. I'm enjoying reading the book and applying it to my life, and I'm also hoping that from this I'll get speaking opportunities, whether it's at educational institutions or helping immigrants, or maybe through the Speakers Bureau with HRPA. I've registered with them. So I'm staying open to the possibilities and what comes up. And we're a new team, so it's going to be a learning journey for us, and we're all helping each other. And that's all we can do, is try to help each other.